Hello, Namaste, Sasrikal, good evening. Welcome to the S.S.Chandhok talk show. We are here once again with very eminent guests from Pan India to discuss on a very special topic, essence of language learning. Today, the first guest we have is A.P. Sharma sir. He is the director academics of Kundan Vidya Mandir, Ludhiana. He has more than 30 years experience as a leader and academician. He is a CBSE. He got CBSE award for education from Education Minister 2010 for contribution in the field of education. National awardee from President of India 2012 for outstanding performance. Global Teachers Award 2015. Award from Women Empowerment from UNESCO and Delhi Commissioner for Women 2016. Academician of the Decade Award from WEF 2016. Exemplary Leadership Award from Mr. Pranab Mukherjee 2018, and in many more awards and laurels. He had been a member of various important committee of CBSE like examination reforms, curriculum design, inclusive education, etc. Authored many articles on education and parenting, conducted more than 300 workshops for parents, principals, and teachers. He is expert on design thinking and working for spreading awareness about latest pedagogy in education. Had two states in NEP implementation, had been a member of Niti Aayog committee for selecting activities for innovation labs under Atal Tinkering Lab. We welcome you, sir, and we are very thankful that you are over here on our show. You have spared your time, valuable time. Sir, first of all, we like to know your education journey because you were in Arab countries before this school. So please let us know as an administrator, when did you start that and how did it you went to UAE and came back India?
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. And first of all, I really feel humbled the kind of introduction you have given. Of course, I started my career as an assistant professor in Sukhadia University, and then I joined Mayo College. And Mayo College, I was there for around 9 to 10 years as a housemaster. And luckily, I became principal too early. I was the founder principal of Harman Binary School, Jammu, where I worked for 3 years. Then Birlas, and then I went to Jaipur, a very prominent school of Jaipur, MPS, Maheshwari Public School, Jawahar Nagar. 10 years I spent in APJ School, Panchsheel, which is the flagship school of APJ Group. And then around 5 years in Qatar, Doha Birla Public School. And now I have joined as a principal and director of Kundan Vidya Mandir. So the journey had been very satisfactory and God had been very kind. As a teacher, I still think I'm not a teacher. I'm a student, and I'm learning continuously. Like every year I try to find myself among students while I do some kind of certification course and all. Like last year, I did a course from Harvard University for 4 months. So it's a clear message to all the listeners that at any age, if you keep yourself engaged as a student, you learn better, you learn more, and you do not become stagnant. Thank you so much, sir.
Absolutely right, sir. We are proud that you are over here with us. And we had been observing you that all the time, every time you are so much, in the media doing something or that, because you have proved that age is not a bar of learning. At any age, you can learn. And it is, of course, said that in the last breath you take, you have to learn. If you are learning, then only you will get progress. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for coming.
Pleasure.
Next, we have Aditi Basu Roy, ma'am. She is the principal of Graz International School, Greater Noida. Welcome, ma'am. She's an expert in online teaching, blending learning strategies, counseling, and school health. CBSE resource person, Assistant Secretary, ABA Mission, she, President of All India Principals Association, Gautam Buddha Nagar District, an anchor and moderator for 10 news channels. She has completed her certification courses, online teaching and blending learning from University of New South Wales, Sydney, Australia in 2017 with distinction. Learn how to learn from University of California, San Diego, USA with honors with 98.6% in 2017. Counseling skills for women and children from NIPCCD, Department of Children and Women Welfare, Government of India 2017. School Health for Children and Adolescent specialization from University of Colorado, USA in 2020 with honors and distinction. Counseling certificate from Council India 2020. She caters to experiential learning and skill building in her school. And Then ma'am had started a campaign which is called Chuppi Todo against child abuse in 2008, and thereafter conducted more than 100 workshops on child safety, training Haryana government school teachers on innovative teaching methods on invitation by IIM Rohtak, invited by CBSE to be a part of Inclusive Education and Examination Reform Committee, invited by Delhi University for e-Cognite Teachers Training Project, Educational Excellence Award from CED. Ma'am has also again received so many awards on national and international level, and also associated with many more associations on national and international level. And of course, she is already connected with many NGOs. Ma'am, welcome, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. And again, we will like to know about, and again, people will like to know about your this campaign called Chuppi Todo.
Yeah, yes. Thank you, sir. I was really a little bit embarrassed reading out all this biodata. And it's, yes, Chippi Taro is very close to my heart because still now, even I was in recently, I think, a week ago, I was in a workshop with Brazil and Iran, because India, Brazil, and Iran are the three topmost countries of child abuse and women abuse, and especially child abuse may Brazil, India, and Iran. Just imagine, I was so shocked and I was very disheartened. I was very ashamed that we are among the top three countries in child abuse. And in that, I've learned that it was from somebody, some educator from Brazil. She arranged it, and then I don't know who contacted me or how I was contacted. I was a part of that. And there I have learned that it is so important that to save our children, it is not about only girl child, it is about all children. It is about boy children also, girl children also, to save them and to tell them what is right and what is wrong, and how to identify perpetrators. Perpetrators can be among us also. Perpetrators can be a teacher also, can be a principal also, can be a uncle, auntie, or anyone in the family. Okay, so how to identify perpetrators, how to say no when you are being abducted, and when you are being lured with some gifts, some toys, and some sweets or something, how to identify that, and how to say no to everything. Chuppi toro maa ko bolo, chuppi toro teacher ko bolo. Anything happens in your life, your mother is the best friend, tell her. So that is very close to my heart. And anybody want to do this workshop, I'm really available, because I really want to do something for the children. एंड आपको किसी को चाइल्ड सेफ्टी वर्कशॉप में, चाइल्ड अब्यूज पॉस्को एक्ट में वर्कशॉप करानी है, सो स्पेशली प्लीज यू कैन ऑफ कोर्स कॉल मी एंड इनवाइट मी.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. You're doing a wonderful job, ma'am. I mean, this is very important. This is the need of our, that we have to, create awareness among the children, that they have to, understand this, what is right and what is wrong, do and don'ts. Thank you so much and welcome, ma'am. Next, we have a very dashing personality, Dr. Kunal Anand. He is the principal of EPS Udhampur. He is a CBSE resource person. He is a counselor, education trainer, motivational speaker. He has around 2 decades of experience in teaching, administration, training, and development. He has done staff training, operations, student relations, campus management, campus operations, and management of school and educational institutions. He has been invited as panelist, keynote speaker, and resource person for various national and international conferences. Twice won the award for highly effective principals of an Indian award by AKS Educational Services. Won the Principal of the Year award by Times Now and Franchise India. Awarded by Bharatiya Shiksha Samman Puraskar presented by Dr. Mulli Manohar Joshi and International Education Excellence Award by Sunil Shastri. Recently awarded with Global Educator Award 2020 by Secretary CBSE Mr. Anurag Tripathi, presently holding the position of General Secretary, Jammu Sawadiyah Schools Complex. He is a Deputy District Coordinator CBSE RO for Jammu and Kashmir, exclusive resource person for APP and CBSE Resource Chandigarh. We welcome you, sir. And again, sir has received so many awards that it will take 2 days time to read that, as well as he is associated with so many associations on national and international level. Sir, we welcome you. There are certain things you have not written in this. Apart from this, what had you been doing? You had been in schools. I mean, tell about your career when you started up your career and you wanted to go into, I think you wanted to go into Bollywood and you came over here. How did this happen? What you did there and how did you came into this? Please, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. And I'm into this galaxy of intellectuals. I don't even think that I can stand somewhere among the people like Sharma sir and Aditya Basu ma'am. But yes, Chandok sir, I never intended to be an educator. I never wanted to be a principal or into education. I am a mass comm graduate, postgraduate from JNU, Jawaharlal Nehru University, Delhi campus, and an MBA from Symbiosis, Pune. So I was always a corporate person into corporate. I started off my career with American Express Bank, was my first job when I started off with them, and then gradually moved into Frankfurt Aviation. And that was a time when education, training, and mentorship came into my mind. That was way back. From there, the journey started. I started reading. I mean, I qualified my post graduation way back in 2000, and then came back for doing B.Ed, then M.Ed, then PhD. So it was a journey where education fascinated me. This idea of it was initially I was only into trainings. I preferred to be a trainer, but then gradually when I came into training, interacted with teachers, interacted with educators, interacted with principals, that was a time when I thought, why not? And probably when I came in, there was a time when youngsters were not coming into education at these positions because coming from a corporate level where you're having a very flowery jobs and a flowery working environment into a hardcore work. I mean, I would call schools and education institutions where you actually work, learn, unlearn, and relearn. That was a process which I got through and finally landed up into principalship in 2015 when Pathways offered me to be their principal and start off their school in Kathua. That's a small town in Jammu, near Jammu only. And after that, there was no looking back. I mean, today I think I was absolutely made for this thing because I'm too much keen into innovations. That's my forte. There's something new I would like to do every time when I'm interacting with my children, with my parents, with my teachers. Some newness is important for me. I just can't go with the monotonous manner of the old things. So that particular innovation ideas, because I was never a science student, so I could never innovate in the form of the science people do, being a commerce student all the time. So this innovative techniques helped me in identifying myself. And today I proudly say that I'm an educator. I'm learning, I'm relearning, and I'm unlearning all the time. Every time we sit together, there's some new learning and unlearning happening. And there could be no better profession in my life for me. I'm thankful to God. I'm thankful to my mentors who guided me towards the right profession. And today I sit here on this seat where I can nurture a lot of new and impeccable human minds, children. That's about me, sir.
That's great, sir. That's great, sir.
Thank you.
One thing more, sir. How many fashion shows you have done, sir?
सर आप पीछे पड़ गए.
College time, yes. College time,
Yeah.
yes, because being into mass communication, so so that was a very glamorous field. So yes, we were there, and I was in my school also in class 12 farewell. I was selected Mr. Handsome of the school.
My God.
Then of course in the
You are
college
still Mr.
also,
Handsome, sir. You are Mr. Handsome of all of us, sir. Still,
I
sir.
was. That was way back, two
Sir,
decades
right
ago.
now also you are. Right now you are, sir. Because I have done deep study of you also, sir. I know that you had been all this. Thank you, sir. And you are a great leader. And with the way you have taken your schools to the heights, I've seen that how brilliantly and how sincerely you're working up with your school, and you have brought up the reputation. Maybe the one of the best school in Jammu and Kashmir at least. You
Thank you, sir.
welcome,
Thank you,
sir. Welcome, sir. Next, we have Deepika Sharma, ma'am. She is the principal of Grand Columbus School, Faridabad. Welcome, ma'am. She is a true blue K-12 educator and vice president of Saudia School Complex, Faridabad Education Chapter, an education technologist who addressed the nation about the challenges, achievements, and future policies, often seen on News 24 as a guest speaker. An entrepreneur and early adopter of change who is often seen building new education strategies, developing the latest edtech tools, bringing unique learning programs, introducing gamified learning pedagogy, and giving keynote speeches around the world. An exemplary education leader who is determined to raise teaching learning standards in India's will guard preschools, school and higher education institutions, an inclusive educator, Diva, who ensures an inclusive environment online and offline for children who are differently abled. Her objective is that engaging students in meaningful play and a sense of inquiry with information, making them more knowledgeable, courageous, confident, and life-going learner, developing a healthy environment in which a student and a teacher grows incessantly in collaboration and harmony, forming an institute where her team seek for a greater value of their actions and words, autonomously with the set goals and energies. She is also associated with so many associations on national and international levels and also received so many awards. Everyone over here who's present over here have received so many awards that there's a big list for everyone. It cannot be read. We welcome you, ma'am. And ma'am, we like to know your journey as an educator because I had been seeing that in your profile that you have worked with so many schools and you have a vast experience of that. Please let us know about your experience as an educator, ma'am.
Good evening, everybody. It's totally humbled by such a super achiever panel that you have together. Thanks for having me here. So, I think my journey started with my mother being a social worker and asking me to take my summer vacation classes in slum areas in Srinivaspuri. My parents are in GK. So, Srinivaspuri in those days used to be, I mean, if you know about Delhi, then, you know, it used to be a slum area. So that's where I started. I think I was a teenager and I taught about the students of my age, possibly. I just knew it was so natural and nice. Later on, because I did French, then I did German from Max Muller along with my BA and MA. So I thought that I should work with a multinational. So my first job was with BNB, which is a French multinational. So, but once I got into a school, I just knew that, I mean, it was so natural. It's fun. Uh, you are surrounded by energy, and that possibly makes you, like you earlier said, you know, feel energetic and young all the time. So, Dr. Anand, you know, and Vivid, and everybody here, you know. So, I guess for all of us as educators, we're here because we're here. It's almost been 3 decades, uh, you know, and I've worked with the DAVs, I have worked with the DPSs. So I personally feel wherever you work, you know, the teaching learning process needs the same kind of the gearing up, which I mean, all schools for that matter, teachers and learners need the same thing. For me, something very close to my heart is training the trainers, you know, and I'm super excited in the times that we're living. Now we have the NEP 2020 and the changes are there. And I want to see those changes happen right at the ground level. So that is what I'm doing at the moment with Sahoday also. We're having a series of workshops for right from principal to the head teacher to examination in charge. And this is what I've been doing for last one session with Sahoday, but with my own teachers, I know it's something, an ongoing process. Enjoy what I do tremendously. And I feel, you know, every time you are with the children, and I mean, the sight of children pleases me a lot, you know. Very impressed with Aditi ma'am's Chuppi Toro, you know, and those also, of course, are the issues that we are associated with. Recently, I have been appreciated by Finnish government Ministry of Education for bringing the child abuse and women abuse workshops, and we've been conducting that both for India as well as Finland. So, I mean, I totally agree again with Aditi ma'am. It's really humbling and embarrassing when you read out the entire thing. Maybe next time, Mr. Chandhok, I'm going to send you something very small. Okay. So,
But already I have, ma'am.
thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
You, no, ma'am, you are so much super talented. Almost, I mean, all the panelists who are over here, they're super talented. And I mean, because you are doing a great job, don't take it otherwise, because you are doing a great job. That is why we have collected over here.
Thank you so much, and thank
Thank
you
you
for
so much.
connecting with me.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Such an esteemed panel.
Thank you so much, ma'am. To you also. Next, we have Vivid Gupta, sir. He is the principal of Bal Bhavan Public School, Mayur Bihar to Delhi. He aims to empower his educators to perform to the best of their proficiencies and edging along with the advancements of times and techniques. He is self-motivated and self-driven individual with respect to taking initiative towards the social concerns and cause and a contributor in developing positive mindsets in uplifting society. Committed to redefining the conventional phase of education, he is constantly working in the direction of fostering 21st century global learners. Catering to unique and unconventional academic perceptions, he believes in promoting inquisitive acumen in the youngsters, creating room for exploration. He is starting out a navigation course for foster change makers. He has worked to establish a team of motivated mentors, incarnating an institution that defines the essence of innovative spirits and creativity. Being an ardent advocate of innovation in skills and spirits, his leadership techniques are marked by enthusiasm of exploring different avenues of knowledge, creating rooms for experimental learning and innovations. Under his able mentorship, the school has been declared as School of Innovative Trophy 2021 for maximum participation at youth idiotism. The school is adding boundaries of academics under his leadership. The teachers and students are recognized in multi-dimensional faiths. His passion and commitment to allow students to explore, innovate, and experiment is unparalleled. We welcome you, sir. And again, sir has two rooms filled with the trophies and certificates and associations as well he's connected with. And he is so dynamic in his working. He has a very different system of working. And that is why we were discussing just now only before starting the session that how you have brought up the changes in Bal Bhavan when you had joined over here and taken over the charge over here. Please tell us the secret of your energy and what different things you are taken that all the educators who are over here as well as who will be seeing this episode you get motivated. Please.
Thank you, Chandok sir, for that warm introduction. And a very good evening to all the panelists here. And I'm honored to be sitting with such a esteemed panel this evening. And, sir, when you were talking about what different I'm doing, it's nothing different from what we've heard till now. I think all the educators here in this panel are doing extraordinary in their own ways. And I'm just trying to learn from everybody around me. The driving force behind me for coming into this mainstream education is, unlike others, it is because of my family. So I have educator's family background. My grandfather started this institution. My father carried it ahead. And then after completing my graduation and obtaining a professional degree, I joined the institution and never thought that I'm going to lead so early. But then the idea was always to be with the children. So, like other educators here, Aditi ma'am and Deepika ma'am, Kunal sir, I enjoy being with the children. So during my early years of teaching, I was very, very enthusiastic trying new things with the children. And whenever they were there, I used to sit with them and then, we used to intermingle in the activities and do it together. So that was the main thing. I kind of, initiated a lot of new things in the environment, learned from my subordinates, learned from my colleagues, learned from my seniors, and then tried to gel all the experiences together. And today what Bal Bhavan is doing, I personally feel that we as a team are moving ahead and trying new things every day. So that new things is trying that new thing every day is the source of energy for us. And of course, when we are amongst the children, it is something that keeps us going. And the kind of environment that my educators are creating today, I personally feel that the bond that we have developed over years, that is extraordinary. And the school and my identity is because of my team. So that is something which is different at Bal Bhavan. Thank you so much.
Sir. That's great, sir. Sir, Bal Bhavan has more branches also. How many branches are there?
Yes. So we have 5 branches. Currently, we are having 4 in Delhi. And we have 1 in Haryana, Sonipat, which is a residential unit.
That's great about you, sir. And the thing that speaks about your simplicity is that you write only principle. This is your school, but your simplicity everywhere you write. Don't write people usually write founder, director, and MD. And
I think that the word principle has a lot of power. The word owner does not have that power.
So that speaks about
the power that the principal gets, and the positive energy that this title gives me, I think that is the driving force. It's a responsibility over here. And when I took up this role as a principal, I never assumed that it's going to be so heavy. But then as time passes and as you are meeting people, when you interact with others, then you realize that okay, this is something big. You are now into something where all eyes are on you, and you have to prove yourself. You have to do it for others, not for your own self. So
That's
that's
great.
how I don't want people to know me by being the owner of Balbhavan. But yes, I am a proud owner, of course. But then being a principal is something that adds value to me. Thank
Sir,
you.
you said you are not doing anything different. This is what you are doing different. But this is the best thing. This is people try to show off. But here the thing is, you are keeping it hiding because you are saying that principle. Basically, we are teachers. But as a
Yes.
principal, we are proud to a principal. We don't want to show that we are the owners. We
Yes.
want to prove yourself. Sir, you have
Thank
proven
you.
yourself, and your words and your that fragrance has moved to so many places, pan India. That Bal Bhavan under Vivid sir is doing so good right now. Aditi ma'am was also telling before the session that how proud she is also that you are doing so good over there.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
So
much,
this
sir.
is because of the legacy that I've got from my grandfather. I mean, he was a visionary. And when I was completing my graduation and I was pursuing my B.Ed, he used to call me Professor Sir. He used to,
Okay.
teasingly, he would call me Professor, and I would say, "Why are you calling me like that? I'm too young." And then he says, "You don't know. तुझे नहीं पता है कि तेरे अंदर क्या है. You will realize it one day." Today, when he's not with us, I, think that what kind of a vision he could sense, what kind of a thing he could see in people at that time. And today I'm not a professor, but then the kind of work people come and appreciate and tell me that the work that you're doing is commendable, and you were just walking ahead on the path that your grandfather has given you. It gives me a lot of motivation, and emotionally, that bond with my grandfather is something which is very, very strong. So it gives me a lot of energy.
That's great, sir. Welcome,
Thank
sir. Welcome. And we are very thankful to you. You have spared your valuable time. And you have proved that also, sir. So many people, they sit on your family business and they become the principals or the MD, but they don't prove. They all depend upon the, staff and everyone. But you have proved that I have my own identity. I am Vivek Gupta. I am
Thank
not
you.
Bal
Nice.
Bhavan. I am Vivek Gupta. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Next, we have Jaswinder sir. Jaswinder Singh sir, he is the ex-founder, director of DesignMate, which is now Reliance Group company. He's MD and CEO of Wordsworth English Language System. He has an experience of 32 years in the field of education, successfully running two edtech companies. He worked as a consultant to the government of Bahrain through UNESCO, advised the government on the use of ICT Act in education, passionate edtech leader. Wordsworth is used by over 1 million learners annually through more than 3,000 schools and colleges. Launched the Wordsworth first Sanskrit language lab, also developed language lab for Hindi. He is based out at Ahmedabad, Gujarat. We welcome you, Jaswinder sir. And let me tell you that he has worked with almost all the army schools, the KV schools. But we would like to know from himself only, sir, how did it came into your mind to start this language lab? Everybody will like to know again. And I must tell you all that I met him in one of the session. We were as a speaker over there, and when I saw that he has started up a lab since many years, and that is very helpful to the children. So I requested him in this season to please come and tell us what actually this language lab is and how it came into his mind to start this. Over to you, sir. Jaswinder, sir.
Thank you, Chandok, and thank you for having me here. Very happy to be with this August, presence of such senior people and people who got such a lot of experience. I come with a little different experience, though a little corporate-ish, but always into education. Um, I actually started as an IT trainer, and I was an outsourced trainer for Microsoft. So they used to send me to different countries to go and, train the governments and things like that. And during that stint, I got a project for UNESCO, and they asked me to work with Bahrain government. During that time, actually, I also started running my IT training company, and we got a first project of, working with the government of Gujarat. I'm based out of Ahmedabad, Gujarat, and we were training all the government employees. I'm talking about way back 1990s, early 90s. And that's the time, when our current Prime Minister Modi ji, who was the Chief Minister of Gujarat at that time, so he had one problem. Gujarat had attracted a lot of investment from other countries, through their vibrant Gujarat, things like that. He had a major problem that we didn't have people with good language skills. Gujarat always lacked behind, when it comes to language skills. So he picked up us as a company along with two other companies and said, I'm giving you a project, no tender, nothing. Go train 100,000 people every day, every year in English. We were super excited, itna bada project, and you just have to train people. But then he brought in one caveat. He said, for every one center that you open up in the urban Gujarat, you have to open up 2 centers in rural Gujarat. We were again happy. Chalo, rural mein to aur acha hai. He said, I will give you the students. He said, I will give you the location. All you have to do is take your trainers. To our, whatever surprise or whatever we say, when we wanted to have the centers in urban Gujarat, it was very easy, very difficult to get teachers for rural Gujarat. If you have, it's a problem everywhere. Everywhere, rural or tier 3 cities, you don't get the right kind of trainers there. So what we thought is, you can't import teachers. You can't, not for projects. And a person from urban area would normally not like to go on a short duration projects. So we realized that we need to do something, and that's how we started creating content. Earlier, I was a part of DesignMet, which made the world's first 3D animated content, and then we went on to, get awards from 13 countries. Though I left them 15 years back, and that's the time we got this project. And I said, okay, let's create software which will help a normal teacher deliver better. What does content do? It doesn't teach; it only supports as a teaching tool, and that's how we started working into the content thing. And then while we were implementing this, I realized language is not supposed to be, improved when you're in college, not when you've finished your schooling. It should actually be done during the schooling. And that's how we came into the, business of setting up language labs into schools. And today, very proud to be there with, more than 3,000 schools. In fact, Dr. Kunal Anand, we have communicated sometimes back, if you remember. Yeah, I still have your number with me. Anyway, so this is what we've been doing and working onto this. And very happy to say that what NEP 2020 wants today. So we have now come up with the Sanskrit lab, which is the world's first Sanskrit lab, and also a Hindi lab. So, taking care of all the 3 components for majority part of the country, will be working on other this thing. So that's the journey that we've been doing. And language labs are there to support language learning. It helps students learn better, acquire better, teachers deliver better. That's it.
Absolutely right, sir. And you're doing a wonderful job. I had seen with the schools you're already working. I have talked to the principals who already are associated with your lab, how the help the teachers are getting, because if the teachers are not knowing properly, they are not able to communicate that thing to the students. So right learning should go in proper way. So that is what the language lab is set. It is a tool, of course, where the teachers have to use to make the learning easy and flexible for the students and interesting also. Thank you so much, sir, and welcome. We'll talk to you further in the later part of the session. Welcome. We'll come up to the next round, and it's not a question round. It's a suggestion round, your comments round. Sir, I'll come up to AP Sharma, sir. Sir, we say that the essence of language learning is that people are able to communicate with each other and build relationship. So what do you mean when you say this, that people are able to communicate with each other by learning of language learning?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think Mr. Jaswinder has already given my answer in a very apt way, that language can be taught, but can be learned by catching it. So learning is very different. Like generally we say habits are not taught, these are caught. So language is also not taught, this is caught. You will learn better if you are among those people who are speaking correct English. Otherwise, we have such kind of system and such kind of teachers all over India. They themselves speak a very faulty language, and the children learn the second grade of faulty language. And the same problem is in various states because that particular dominance of that accent related to that particular state comes up. And I'm quite sure whenever you talk about communication, whether it's in English, whether it's in it's a Hindi, Sanskrit, or any language, it's very important that if you speak correctly, then you can listen and you can write correctly. So for communication, I think language is the most important medium, as it separates human beings from all other species on this globe. And that too, when we are communicating in different languages, it becomes very important that we master a few languages and then communicate, because communicate spreads knowledge, and the knowledge makes you to communicate further. For example, I could see like a young man, Mr. Vivek and Mr. Kunal, doing so great. They are taking workshops and they are spreading this knowledge and all because of their communication skills, and they could grab it. I'm so happy to listen from both of them that yes, they are learner. I'm very happy, because at my fag end, if I think that I'm a learner and they think that they are learner, they will learn better than me. The only idea is that if you can communicate effectively, then the pitch of the language, of course, any semicolon or whatever you want in various kind of things makes a lot of difference. And Mr. Jaswinder Singh is doing amazing work. Salute to him.
Thank you.
And certainly after coming to India, I would like to see him in my school too, when he's coming with the Sanskrit language and Hindi language. It is right now very much required in various schools. Even Sanskrit is a difficult language, but very original language. You know, it's friendly to computer. I think it is considered the best language which is used in computers. So this is interesting also. And when we talk about communication, I think Aditi ma'am and the other panelist, she is not written her name, so I can't. So that way,
Deepika ma'am.
Yeah. So you know, many a time.
Sharma.
Yes, Sharma ma'am. So you can many a times you can communicate without language. Your eyes, your expressions, and all other ideas can be expressed. But that too, you should know actually that what is language. Then you can express it through eyes. You can express it through various gestures of yours. So communication, I believe, the soul of understanding, and of course the language is the soul of communication. Thank you very much, and I'm feeling very happy to be among all Indian panelists, and that too the great ones, and to be great ones. That's so nice of you. And Mr. Chandhok, all thanks to you bringing us together.
Pleasure is mine, sir. So many intellectuals are over there, and I'm learning from everyone in every show. You know, I'm gaining the most. I'm getting the most, and this was the reason, sir, that I started up with this. And I'm calling intellectuals who are doing wonderful job in their industry, and they should come together, and they can increase my knowledge.
No, you have done an amazing blending. I think few days back only I received a friend request from Mr. Vivid, and I was surprised. Yeah, now in India, because last year I conducted more than 70-80 webinars for Gulf countries and European countries and all, when I was working with Nottingham University professors and all on some issues and all. But the kind of knowledge and kind of freedom to express we have in India, that too with the blend of originality, with the blend of language skills. I think the maximum languages spoken in a country, that too with different kind of dialects. Mr. Jaswinder Singh will tell us will cross 1,000. after every
15 kilometers.
10 kilometers, the language dialect is changing. Everything is changing. Thank you so much, sir.
My pleasure, sir. My pleasure. Aditi ma'am, we'll come up to you. Will you like to add something into it?
Yes. So this is what they are doing is really Jaswinder sir and Sharma sir, what they said, and they're really amazing. And as Vivekananda said, so in Bengali, I'm a Bengali, and Bengali में कहा जाता है, विवेकानंद ने बोले है, भाषा भाव प्रकाशेर बाहन. भाषा is भाव प्रकाश करने की वाहन है. Okay. So language is the vehicle for expression, for expressing yourself. All right. So now how do we express ourselves? With communication. How do we communicate? by sending a good night and good morning in the WhatsApp. Okay, that is our way of communication. And how do you show your emotion? By emoticons. All right. I'm happy, so a smiley face. I'm sad, so drooping face. So that is our expressing emotions. It's all right. Okay, we are in the age, but what about the original? Then we'll lose the originality. We'll all become another computer. Okay, human computers will become. There is the humanism. There is the humanity in expression, not in expression. As you know, I'll read out that quotation from Mark Twain, where Mark Twain said, I'll read out it. Let us make special effort to stop communicating. I'm saying something different. Let us make a special effort to stop communicating with each other so that we have some conversation. Okay, it's a very famous quotation of Mark Twain. So we communicate with each other. We don't converse. Where is the conversation? When you converse, it's not about it. When you converse, you bring out a part of yourself, bring out a part of your mind, not in communicating. Communicating, cup chai do to, please bring me a glass of water. That is also communication. Communication is required. But when you transit this communication mode, then conversation is required. Each film, each art of work is not a communication, it's a conversation between the artist and the viewer. Each piece of work, poem, is not a communication, it's a conversation between the writer and the receptor. So we need to communicate as well as we need to converse. Chandhok, sir, what you are doing is not communicating. We are conversing with each other. We're sharing our peace of mind. We're sharing a piece of soul to each other. Okay. So that is what communication, that is what conversation. So both are required. And for communication, you need to know the language, but not the correct language. So suppose if we have this kind of English, okay, and हमारे जो civilian भाषा है और urban भाषा है, you cannot go to Punjab and speak in your urban Hindi or urban bhasha. I cannot go in मेरा urban जो language है, गुजरात में जाके, because my daughter is studying in Gujarat, Ahmedabad, National Institute of Forensic Sciences. तो गुजरात में जाके मेरी छोटी बेटी अभी पढ़ रही है, she's in first year MSc. गुजरात में जाके रूरल एरिया में जाके मैं जो हिंदी है हमारी और हमारी जो गुजराती जो पढ़े लिखे भाषा है वो नहीं कह सकते. They have their local dialect, local language. They won't understand that. Oh, that is very important, that we need to communicate, learn so much language so that we can communicate with each other. But if you want to transit above communication, you need to learn to converse. That conversation has, then the grammar comes, as they were talking about the grammar. Then you need to know because grammar is the backbone of a language. All right. So they were talking about the good words. What is the good word? What is the better word and what is the best word? So when we are young, there was a book, Good, Better, Best English. जो जिन्होंने हमारे समय की है उनको पता है. So now those books are lost. All right. So that is what. So how do you express yourself with the best English or best language? I'm not talking about English, whatever language. I'm talking about every language, whether it is Hindi, English, Sanskrit. Okay. So any language, what is the best word? तो ये जो है ये हमें सीखना पड़ेगा. That is where we need sir to give a part of his effort, जो जहाँ पे हम सीख सकते हैं how to develop ourselves day and day, which all of us I guess are doing. And Chandhok sir is हमें पिरोना कहते हैं, जो हमें पिरोते हैं सबको लेके और एक माला गूंथते हैं सबकी विचारधारा लेके, सबको लेके. और ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है क्योंकि इससे एक सुंदर माला तैयार होता है, एक सुंदरता तैयार होता है. And we get to know each other's culture, each other's mindset, and each other's learning what they have learned. So ये बहुत important है. Chandhok sir, anything else you want?
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for your nice words also and your experience also. Thank you so much, ma'am. That's so nice of you. We'll come up to Dr. Kunal Anand sir. Sir, when we talk about language learning, we are not talking about only the kids or the students. It's not like that. If the school gets over, you don't have to learn language. Language is a life-going process. What do you say about this, sir?
Absolutely, sir. Language is a life-learning process. The communication stands on the pillar of languages, irrespective, as what Aditi ma'am also said, not about English or Hindi or regional language. It's the language, and language is the only communication among two people to begin with. A language which is could be known, unknown. A language could be in the form of sign, gesture, the way it is between a mother and a child. When the child is born, the mother can just, she just knows that the child is now hungry through the various connects she has with them. Because, and when they start speaking, it's only the mother who knows what the child is talking. जिसे हम तोतली भाषा कहते हैं जब बच्चे छोटे होते हैं. So it's the mother who understands that language because they have a connection when the child was in the womb, and then when the child was brought up to the level when he could just start communicating. The sign language. We ask the child to smile, and you look at the child and he just starts smiling. That is a connect. I mean, we can, when we start thinking of, and the same goes towards the old age, when our parents, our grandparents, they are old enough. Again, that same sign language comes back to them. We ask, Amma ji khana khayengi? So she would say yes. Amma ji theek hai? She would say no. So the language connect, as you said, it's a lifelong learning process. Probably that sign language with the child and the mother had developed at the beginning of his time when child goes through the various life cycles and the mother goes through the life cycle. Finally, one fine day, they again come back to the sign language. And of course, a conversation between a husband and a wife, I guess that's the best example of language and conversation. You can just understand what she's trying to tell you or he's trying to tell you just through the expression of eyes. You have done some mischief, you have done something wrong which was not to be said, and she would just tell you, okay, let's go home. And you know what's going to happen next. Language connect. The idea is about that language connect. Language is not, it is not just something which is mastered, what Sharma sir said. It can't be just taught. It can always be mastered with the passage of time, understanding the importance of language in communication. What Aditi ma'am said, the right communication. How would you be able to make the other people understand? And again, there won't be a barrier to this thing, because even if two people are having different languages, if they do not understand the language, like if somebody tells me, if Aditi ma'am speaks in Bengali, I might not be able to connect, and I start speaking in Dogri or Kashmiri, she would not be able to connect. But let me tell you, friends, ultimately, we'll get the gist of what that person is talking about. I was born in Srinagar, so Kashmiri was a language which was there. So initially, for the basic time, I studied Urdu, and Kashmiri was a communication language. Schooling at like 7th or 8th, we migrated. So I came to Jammu, I had to study Dharam Shiksha, I had to study Sanskrit, I had to study Hindi. And here the local dialect was Dogri. So initially, I thought, okay, I'm a Kashmiri and I should know Urdu. Then I came here, I thought, no, I'm a Punjabi, I'm a Dogri, so I should know Dogri and I should communicate in Dogri and Punjabi. And finally, when I moved out and went to the corporate world and my studies in North Delhi and Pune, so again, the language had changed, but the gist never changed. Today, even after migrating, 30 years has been that we migrated to this place. If two people are conversating in Kashmiri, I can understand what is the context. If not the whole idea, but I can understand the context. So language is something which is, everybody should like, when Sharma ma'am spoke about that she has done her German, she has done her French, even with when she was doing her graduation and post-graduation. So she's become a bilingual. She's already a bilingual, not only just, to the regional languages and official language, so-called English, but she has a hand on the other languages also. So language learning never ends. And Sharma sir is a right example for all of us that he's still learning. So language, I would always suggest that, of course, you have 2-3 of your own languages of the country, that is your regional language, your national language, and English. Apart from that, there must be 1 or 2 languages you must learn. That's my goal also, though I have not started it yet. Probably I'll start it. But this connect, right, starts from the birth and it goes up to the time you say a goodbye to the birth. That's my take, Chandhok sir.
That's great, sir. That's great. Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. Wonderful. And you connect with the kids also, you connect with everyone. I've been seeing your, in the social media also, you go into the pre-primaries also, you sit with the kids, enjoy with them. So see, the children also, they feel, belongingness, that he's not principal, he's uncle, he's so friendly with us, and they enjoy it. They try, when will the school open tomorrow? I have to go to school. So when the kid says that I want to go to the school, why is it Sunday over there? Why is it holiday over there? I want to go to school. There you feel that you have succeeded, You got the success as an educator. And thank you so much.
So
Thank you, Kunal.
Chandhok sir, you forgot, he's also good looking.
He's so handsome. That is all for the teachers, sir, ma'am.
Beauty lies in the beholder's eyes.
That is for the
I
staff, ma'am.
believe.
I didn't wanted to say that. but as you are saying, so I'm saying that is for everyone. Everyone. I mean, who knows him or who sees him in the social media. तो maybe I might be knowing Mr. Kunal Anand even इनसे मिले वो होते तो कितना अच्छा होता वो मिले होते तो कितना अच्छा होता ऐसा होता और वैसा
Absolutely.
होता
नहीं सर, मेरे साथ तो ऐसा है, मैंने उनके साथ बात की थी, आज पहली बार फेस टू फेस देख रहा हूँ, तो इट इज अ डिफरेंट एक्सपीरियंस
देख लीजिए सर
टॉकिंग टू somebody and then being in person, though virtually.
no he is very handsome, he is very down to earth, and he is versatile, all rounder. Slowly and steadily you will know when you will get in contact with him. Thank you sir, thank you Kunal sir.
Inside out, beautiful inside out.
Inside out sir. That's
Yeah.
No,
sure.
that's language for you. How beautifully said, Aditi ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Deepika ma'am, we'll come up to you. Please, you also share your ideas about language learning, the whole life learning process.
So I am a student of English, and that's what I've taught. So something very close to me. I'm really glad you're picking up such topics to be spoken about. They might seem very basic and general, but I guess that's the whole essence of life, communication. Okay, and I in fact feel that it's the very defining feature of any culture, an unmistakable mark in personal identity. You know, I feel it is essential to thought, expression, to forming interpersonal relationships, to functioning and contributing to any democratic society. Since Sharma sir was already saying that India has maximum languages and the freedom to, talk and express themselves. So I said democratic society or a country. So I feel it is really essential that one learns, and I guess all of us are learners. I mean, this is what I gather. We as educators are learners. You stop actually really learn. If you stop learning, you stop giving back. So that's there into it. Secondly, I feel that once a language is taught, I'll come on to the more technical part of it. Though I totally agree with Aditi ma'am that conversation is missing. I mean, that's possibly the reason that we don't even we have so many cases of mental illness, because the conversation is missing. But then coming to the more technical part, because one has to be a learner all through the life and for language, I guess, right from the beginning, when the child knows how to speak informally, there are no explicit rule and conventional rules to learn when he's a little kid or an infant, to the time when you are taught grammar and other nuances and idioms, to other basics, to moving to the context, and finally the expression, coming from transactional language, which we use, because we need or demand, to aesthetic language, where we express, whether that be on the stage or as a poet or as a writer. I guess that is one part of it, as an intellectual as well as a teacher or an educator. But otherwise in life, I guess there is nothing that you can do without proper language and communication. I mean, let's take for an example, whatever medium you pick up to teach has to be some language, whether it's a Hindi or an English or whatever, whatever official work you do. I guess all of us are sitting, why we are sitting here, because we have those communication skills. We have some command over some language here, and we feel that we need to go ahead with the learning process. This learning process will identify you as in your, I mean, it could change with the goals. I would be communicating because I had to crack to get into a college, to get into a job, or to be where I am, or to train, or to express, or to contribute to the society. So all these things, my goals have changed, but the language stays, and I need to learn more or grow with it. Every time I do my goal, socioeconomic goal changes, I'm learning more of language to express myself. I guess this expression is what takes you, from one level to the other. Of course, there is no judging here, but then, it absolutely helps you enhancing your other skills. This is part of possibly the most basic skill which is needed to succeed and go around in this world. So I guess being into the language, learning your language, or being part of it in terms of that language is something that makes you, is a part of expression, a general expression, a specific expression, and part of conversation. So I guess it is, if I say that I got to reimagine the education system, which is what it is at the moment, can I think about having this without any language skills? I cannot, you know. So if I think of really getting into what about interpersonal skills? There are no interpersonal skills without communication, without languages. So I guess one is always a learner, and there is always the goalpost keeps shifting. You've learned this, you got to move this because this is what your goal is. Like I said, if I am a trainer, I need to change the way I express myself.
So
If I
I mean,
want to lead,
in one
if I
line, we
want
can
to,
say, in one line, we can say that communication is equal to language learning, or language learning is equal to communication. And
communication is more than language learning.
yeah, communication is more than language learning, but the base of communication is language learning. If there is no language learning, there is no communication. There is no communication.
Right,
If I can
right.
add, right use of language is communication.
Yeah, for sure. If
That's the
right use is
technical
not
part of
there,
it. Though
yeah,
I would say that, to learn a language, you need not always be correct grammatically or otherwise. Okay. It is about getting that environment and having a love for it.
sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Yeah,
Thank you
so
so much, ma'am.
communication is just beginning, which you can communicate without language.
Absolutely.
But the language
Absolutely.
is required to describe the whole content.
Totally.
You know, with eyes, we can say so many things, but we can't express, and sometimes it can be misjudged.
Yeah.
Absolutely right, sir. Absolutely right. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir. We'll come up to Vivid Gupta, sir. Sir, we have seen during especially these 2 years, past 2 years, that this technology has come into being because of pandemic, and we also see the positive side that language learning we are talking about. Language learning has become easy and perfect with the combination of technology learning. What do you say about this, sir? Because different views are there. Some people say that in olden times it was much better. We used to use this, we used to use that, we used to see the BBC News, listen to that. But now the technology has changed. So many things have changed. We used to carry up dictionaries. Oxford Dictionary we used to get every year, and it used to be the part of the our bag every day in the school. Right now, what is dictionary? Don't know even what is dictionary. They have Google Auntie. They go and search over there. So what do you feel as an educationist that language learning with a combination of technology has made learning easy and perfect or not?
All right. So thank you so much, Chandok sir, for this wonderful question. So before we go ahead, I would just want to add here that amongst so many languages that stand out today, there is one language that is very, very dominant and that you have talked about. And that language is the machine language. Okay, so if we are talking about the technical part of the language, one thing we need to understand that, keep talking about which is the global language. English is a global language. You have to learn that. This is a regional language. But today, what it is turning out, it is that machine language is something which is now going to be the global language. Everybody would want to, use that. Right, that is first part of it. The second part of it is that when we are talking about the types of communication, so CBSE started its employability skills a couple of years back, and we have vocational subjects in our school. So our students are studying that, and I'm part of the core committee of preparing the content with CBSE for employability skill as well. So there is one chapter particularly devoted to communication skills in that. So I was discussing with the team that we are talking about the verbal and the non-verbal communication. What about the technical communication that is happening today? So even during the pandemic, the students are now using all those modes that are required to become more global, to move out and understand what is happening in the world, right? So when we are talking about the expression, when we are talking about the conversation, when we are talking about the communication and the connect, I think the technical part is the center point of it. So be it any language, the technical aspect is certainly which is very, very important. Now, when we are talking about a language, be it any language, it's English, Hindi, Gujarati, French, Marathi, whatever. Today, the technical assistance that we have got is something which is extraordinary. So, since we are a Microsoft school, and what we have seen in our school is that Microsoft provides a lot of tools, accessible tools. Now, what is happening is that the children are using those tools while they are doing their assignments. A teacher has prepared an assignment, a second grader or a third grader who is not able to probably comprehend or read what teacher has given. The child is going to use the immersive reader, and the computer is going to read it to you. The child is going to understand what exactly the teacher is demanding, because those words are the words that the child has heard somewhere, but maybe the child is not able to read it. So LSWR, when we are talking about, there is a progression. So the child is listening, then he's going to speak those words, then he's going to read those words, then he's going to write those words. So there's a progression in the language development. So immersive reader is helping the students in that regard. Apart from that, today what is happening is there are a lot of tools that are available to us, which is allowing the children to record themselves. So Flipgrid is one, like Instagram reels. Every small kid knows how to prepare an Instagram reel today. Similarly, teachers are using Flipgrid. So what are they doing is they are asking the children to record themselves and send it to the teacher. So when it comes to the pronunciation, when it comes to the omission, what the content was to be spoken by the child, that it is becoming very easy for the teacher to evaluate and see, even when there is no physical connectivity. So that's very important. So I personally feel that when we are talking about the technical tools, we need to understand that there is this reading progress tool that Microsoft has recently launched, and my teachers are trying their hands on that. So we give the content to the children. The child will open up the Teams app. He's going to read that content as an assignment, record himself, and the Teams app is going to help you auto check that. And there are going to be pointers where the teacher can identify which words the child has mispronounced, which words the child has omitted while speaking, which are the words where repetition is happening, which are the self-corrected words, which are the words where the child has added by himself or herself in the content. So such kind of technology is available to us today. And when we use that in the classroom, I think that gives a lot of confidence to the child also. Speaking in front of the camera. When we were at school, going on the main stage and speaking a morning thought would be a great challenge. But today, when you see these children speaking, one-to-one on the screen in front of the camera, I wonder when they're going to come back to the school, that phobia of, standing in front of 50, 100 children and speaking and delivering a thought, that phobia is not going to be there. So ultimately, the point remains is the technology is not helping us just to improvise our language, but it is certainly what ma'am was talking about, the interpersonal skills that are also getting developed. So the confidence building, the leadership skills, everything is, the center point is the language. So a person who is very, very sound and fluent will feel always confident about what he feels and will be able to express himself. Whereas a person who's going to speak less and is not very confident in the way that I speak, maybe I will lose confidence and I would prefer keeping quiet and just listen and observe others. However, I might know what the conversation is all about. So that's very important. That's my take on the technical part of the language learning.
That's great, sir. That's wonderful. And the system you have adopted in your school for teaching method with the teachers and the students, that's wonderful, sir. And we have gained a lot from that. Thank you so much. Jaswinder sir, will come up to you now. And as you have seen that every speaker has spoken about language learning, and just Vivek sir has given his views about, technology. It is not only that technology helps us in language learning, and it helps in all-round development of a child, because it wouldn't, if technology wouldn't had on there, so these 2 years, what would have happened? So basically, technology is a tool. So sir, let us tell us something about your lab, how it is helping the teachers and the students, whether the studies are going online or they are going offline.
Thank you, Chandokji, again. But can I differ here and put one point in continuation to what Vividji said? the most common language is going to be the machine language. Viviji, there's something before that machine language. Like I just said during my introductory part, where I said that we started working on the Sanskrit language. I'll tell you why. In fact, we came up with this Sanskrit lab, and we were the first in the world to work on that. We had instructions from higher ups in the government that that should be done, and currently around 570 Kendra Vidyalayas are already using our labs there. Now, why was this done? It is not that it is only our cultural language. There's something beyond that. This language is the most logical language in the world. It is said, principles, it is said that even the spelling of a particular word in Sanskrit, there's a reason why that other letter is after a particular letter. Everything is logical. So that is why countries like Germany and in the US, they've started, working towards Sanskrit. And in Germany, if you want to do a course in data sciences, you have to go through Sanskrit. So yes, the future of languages is going to be machine language, and you speak any language, that machine language will translate and get you to speak to others. Great. But coming to the point that not everybody is going to code. If there are going to be 1,000 people, there are going to be 5 people who are going to code, but the other 995 people are going to be benefited by that. So yes, that is the coming in. But coming back to this point is we need to promote this language. And I don't know how many of us know Sanskrit, or Sharma sir, I'm sure, because you were very passionate when we talked about Sanskrit. I am sure that you love to have, and Aditi ma'am. Okay, so one important thing is, before I get onto that, is why language is there. Like one of you said, that language brings us closer to the culture. I say, if you want to love somebody, love that person's language, and you will automatically fall in love with that person. So language actually connects a lot of people. Coming on to this point of how did we work during the pandemic and what happened here. So, we were working, and we had started working in other countries like Malaysia and Sri Lanka and Dubai. So we were already developing something, Chandhok sir, which was it's an online thing. And we knew that the future is all going to be bring your own device, gadget-based learning, and internet-based learning. So what we did was, during the pandemic, for 2 years, we had the entire team which was working from home, but then in fact they worked double time, and we created a product which can be used anytime, anywhere, on any device, right? That means even teachers sitting at home can use this software to deliver, and students sitting at home can practice. And why this happens is, first, it gives you any device access, it gives you any time access, and it gives you any place access. That means you don't have to be at one particular place to do that. So this is something which helped. Secondly, during the pandemic, what happened? The kids were at home, and what they need to communicate. You see, they communicate maximum with their friends when they are in school. I say, if a child in a day's time uses only 10 sentences to communicate with the teacher, the child uses 200 sentences to communicate with his friends. So that communication loss was there. So this product of ours, what it happened, it helps students communicate amongst themselves, and it also helps them, practice the communication part. The second thing is, rightly said by Vividji, when you use technology and when you're trying to acquire a language, it will help you by allowing you to practice more, by allowing you to self-correct yourself, by allowing you to compare. So there are features by listen, record, compare, share. So share is a new thing. Earlier it used to be listen, record, compare. So now what has happened is, you do something, you record it, you find it, and then you share it with the world, and that people, others, judge you or tell you what it is and how it works. So actually what happened is, during the pandemic, we could work with so many of our schools who went completely online. And now, principals, now that the pandemic is almost to an end, they've realized that this blended mode is there to stay, right? And the school hours, you've got only 5 to 6 hours. How to give them more practice, because every day you've got one more subject coming in every year. So using a blended mode of language learning, where little work is done by the teachers in the school and a lot of work is done by students at home. I'll give you one more example. We've all seen Kunal sir, Sharma sir, Vivid sir, principal ma'am. What we have seen is, students are not reading. Am I right? And NEP 2020 says that we have to have research-based learning. How do you do research without reading? So the need of the hour is that we inculcate good reading habits. We all have libraries, but these library books go home and come back. No guarantee that it is read. So what we did is, a little tweak. We got these digital books where the students could first listen to them. So when you listen correct, you speak correct, and then we made them read it. While reading, automatically it gets recorded, and that comes back to the teacher. The teacher listens to it and gives the feedback. It comes back. So we use voice notes. Now, this is a very small, simple technology, but how it helps students improve. And everything is about how I feel, that how have I spoken. So within the privacy of their homes, nobody else listening, they were able to do that. And that's how technology helped, Chandok sir. And that's how our lab helped with a lot of students. So currently like I told you, 1 million students use this every year. And I'm glad that a lot of people are enjoying that.
That's great, sir. And of course, 3,000 plus schools are using this. So that you might be having a very good thing, which is for helping the students as well as the teachers also. We see, sir, so many schools. India is an agriculture country, though there are many schools, thousands of schools which are in remote areas. There you don't get good, well-trained teachers also. These types of tools, they help the teachers, and through the teachers, the right thing, it reaches the children in the right way. That is very necessary.
Chandok sir, one simple thing is, I meet a lot of principals. I always tell them, you can't import teachers.
Yeah.
Right? They have to be developed. So when you give them a tool, when they use that tool to teach, they learn better, because like everybody is saying that we are learners. So when as teachers we teach, we learn more. I remember when we did a B.Ed, kuch nahi samajh aaya. Then when you started teaching, everything became very, clear. So that's exactly what is happening with teachers when they use content.
Approach.
Yeah. So when you use something, when you deliver, you become better. You deliver, you become better. The whole cycle is you become better, the students become better, and then you become better. So that cycle has to keep working. And that's why we say learning never stops. So you're right, sir.
That's great, sir. Sir, I've started one thing in my school now, that I'm giving Teacher of the Month. A Teacher of the Month, a little award I've decided. Either I'll get the name or photograph, clicked on that coffee mug, and he'll be presenting in the assembly to the teacher. So their motivation will be there, that the teachers should do, better. So that motivation is needed many times. But how it came into my mind, the teachers were saying to the office staff, sir doesn't appreciate at all. Because when the things are right, he doesn't appreciate. When the thing gets wrong, he gives a peace of mind. So it came into my mind that something should be done for the teachers to motivate them, the positive thinking, that if you will be doing better, you will be getting a reward in front. And appreciation is the most important thing. What award you're getting is not the most important thing. Thank you so much, sir, Jaswinder, sir. We'll come up to the next round, and we have shortage of time. It's a request. A 1 minute answer will be better. I'll come up to AP Sharma, sir. Back to you, sir. So we know appropriate language learning strategies result in improved proficiency and great self-confidence. So what are your comments on this, sir?
Yeah, it's a very good question. First of all, we must stop teaching and we must start learning. What Mr. Singh said, and basically we understand. The other day, a few days back, I got an opportunity to meet Dr. Kasturi Ranjan, and then this was his initial comment when he was talking to me. We were working with one NEP somewhere, so this is very, very important. And like during COVID days, we talk about LSRW, and then this was a beautiful example. I could find it very interesting what Mr. Singh said, that a student in isolation can also do at least listening particularly and speaking, these two things, and then reading will come slowly, writing will also. Now while my stay during my Gulf period, that time most of the countries were very much apprehensive about their rank in benchmarking. And in benchmarking, unfortunately, India was 83rd out of 84 in PISA examination. I learned very, very beautiful thing from Peru, the country. They improved a lot in PISA examination, and the most important task they picked up was the reading comprehension. What we read, if we can comprehend, that will certainly improve our language, improve our understanding, and improve our complete knowledge of everything. And they started from class 1, 2, 3. I did it in my school in 3 years. My school's rank in Qatar was equivalent to the 11th position of the country, 11th position at the country which was there. And then I was called by the government of India to associate for PISA examination, which I tried initially, and fortunately it was Chandigarh region which was given this particular task, because last time it was Tamil Nadu. And the thing was that finally we withdrew. India is not participating this year in PISA. And the same thing, like UAE called me for helping them, because they were at some position which they were asking about reason. So concluding, it's very important. The learning is important than teaching. And the most important thing, other than anything, that what you read twice and thrice, then you will start learning and you will start comprehending. Anything listening and learning takes place when you comprehend properly. Thank you, sir.
Great. That's great, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Aditi ma'am, please add up something into this topic.
Yes, I'll say differently, because I love saying something different, you know. So, but it's the same. You'll believe it. You'll appreciate it, because the word strategy. The word strategy sounds like a war. This is something drumming. Strategy means war strategy. When we were children, strategy word was used for war. युद्ध के लिए यूज होता था, युद्ध की strategy बनाते थे. Okay, and you remember how many of you played that battleship destroyer cruiser? Have you played that battleship destroyer cruiser? So we used to make strategy for war strategies. Okay, and then I came to know, no, everything should have a strategy management. My sister did PhD in strategy management from USA. She started saying strategy, yes, everything strategy. And then I've heard that all the boardrooms have been, because I'm getting old, that means, all the boardrooms or the rooms, meeting rooms have become war rooms. They are called war rooms, not boardrooms. So this bombarding of words has become a very, every word is bombarding, it's a bombarding of words. So bombs are the real new things. So I would want to change it into a softer word, is culture. How to bring a reading culture, learning culture in school, not strategy. How did we learn? How did we make the culture? When we were small, our mothers used to read storybooks, bedtime storybooks. We started with Enid Blyton. Before that, we started with, what is that?
Ladybird.
Ladybird series. Yes, Ladybird series. And they were all age appropriate, So my mother was from Jamshedpur. She studied in Jamshedpur Sacred Heart Convent. And that time Sacred Heart Convent was taught by the British nuns and all. So we started with the Ladybird series, and then age appropriate. This is for even I'll tell you, for everyone, Pratham, in Indian book company, Pratham has also this Ladybird type of series. Learners, basic learner, red color, then blue color, then yellow, green, orange, different colors. So as you go higher up in reading, the color changes, or the book changes, the border of the book. So Pratham has this graded reading. So then we start, and we had a time, it's called that sleeping time was a book time, means reading time, bed stories. We had learned most of the stories during the bedtime. And mothers used to tell stories. Nowadays, mothers do not have the time to tell stories. They're busy in WhatsApp. They're busy in Facebook. And the children are naturally becoming busy with that. And fathers are also naturally, all of us are. So there's no time. But in our time, thank God, my children were brought up in Facebook and WhatsApp. Facebook was there. WhatsApp was not there. So I used to read stories to them. So reading, parents, teachers, reading out stories with emotion, with some dramatization to children, that definitely make children, they want to learn, they want to study. And also now the technical things so you have to bring a culture, make a culture of reading and learning. And one thing that technology can help us, as sir was saying, Sharma sir was also saying, and all of you are, even Vivek Gupta sir, and he is Jaswinder sir, definitely he's a master of that, he's doing that, is that scaffolded reading. Because when you hear the right pronunciation, right, because in India, every English is different. Bengali English, Mamta Banerjee English, my English is like that. Okay, you can understand I'm a Bengali. Okay, Punjabi English and Maruti Murthy and that kind of Punjabi English, you know, he's a Punjabi. Okay, and Tamilian English, you can understand he's a Tamilian. Yes. So all English, we all speak English, grammatically correct English, but pronunciation is very, very regional, and that's all right. Even American, they come to die. They don't come today, they come to die. Okay, I've come to die. I said, why do you come to die? Okay, so that kind of thing. So that is there. So that let it be there. That makes it more. Very interesting. So my thing is that it's this right pronunciation, kind of pronunciation when you hear it. Okay, so language is built up not by reading only, hearing. So when you hear the right kind of pronunciation with an app or a gadget or something, so then you have a scaffolded reading. You read somebody is reading for you, and then you read the story. All right. So it's a scaffolded, and we read, the machine reads, whoever reads. Scaffolded reading will make language, especially speaking language, better. And there's no other alternative than reading books, because you can read, there was from computers, you read from mobiles, you read from it, but nothing like book. So library should be the heart of our school. There should be activities in the library. I'm very happy to say that I'm very glad and I'm blessed to have a very good librarian. She's also from Kashmir. She's a girl from Srinagar, and she did everything from Srinagar only. Afshan Batul. So that lady, that girl is excellent. Excellent. She does a lot of activities. Every time she's doing some activity in the library. Okay, finding word. Find the word. She gets a word of the day. Find out as many as in the books. Children go and small children go on finding. Ye book dekh rahe ma'am, isme bhi mila ma'am, usme. So find out books. And also there are so many other activities she does. Reading activities, speaking activities, paper cutting activities. That lot of activities means the library should be not a peaceful. Usually I'm from Calcutta, so the biggest library of India belongs to Calcutta National Library. Okay, so National Library mein you go quietly, sit for hours, and wo budhe log kar sakte hain, sitting quietly at the library and studying for research work. But bacche ko activity chahiye. They are the vibrant one. So there needs to be speaking, activity. So library should be a place where, junior library should be a place when the activities are there. So the culture has to be brought up in school and at home for reading and learning. When the learning culture is at home, children will learn. When the learning culture and reading culture is there in school, children will learn. Definitely.
Absolutely right, ma'am. So thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. There's so much to speak that 2 hours or 3 hours are also less for the topic, but we have a limitation of time. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was wonderful listening to you. Kunal sir, I'll come back to you again. You have to answer it in 1 minute. We know that appropriate language learning strategies result or enhances multiple skills. So please discuss any 1 or 2 skills according to you are more important, which a person learns.
Indeed. This is very appropriate to ask about developing skills, because idea is about learning language. So we started off with the understanding of language. We flew to the cloud of having language as a perfect communication tool. We strategized what Aditi ma'am spoke about, developing a culture, and then machine language, what Jaswinder Singh sir and Vivid Gupta sir also spoke about. So these things ultimately would land up with developing a lot of multiple skills in the children, whether it is problem solving, whether it is communication through your peer groups, whether it is cognitive skills, whether it is language betterment skills. So rather than just talking about what it is, I'll just share 2 or 3 things what we are doing in our school, because Aditi ma'am was talking about building a culture of reading, building that culture of reading, and this is what we have done with my children. Like what we do, everybody has a debate and speaking competition in the school. In our school, whenever we have an annual debate fest, which we are doing we are doing it for almost 60-65 schools across the country now. We have a bilingual turn court. In between, you have to start your topic, and in between you have to take up at least 3 languages once you complete your debate. So it is not just an English or a Hindi debate. It is English, Hindi, Urdu, Punjabi, Sanskrit, Tamil, whatever. And I tell you, Chandhok sir, this came out so successfully. I started off this thing 5 years back as a class activity. We started this because normally we have extempores in the class. So everybody is focusing on English extempores or Hindi extempore speaking. So we said, okay, let it be Hindi English. That is how the idea came in. Let it be in Hindi English. And gradually it became a inter-class competition. Then it became an inter-house competition. Today it is one of the largest inter-school competitions we are holding for all the DPSs across the country. And it has come up so successfully. So the idea is the children are given that thought of multiple thinking. They have to be sure that once they're talking in one language, they have to flip into the other language and to the third language before they conclude with their debate. So
and still make meaning out of it, sir. And still make meaning out of it.
Yes, exactly. And then again, we thought the same idea, why not to utilize this for the teachers? At Jammu Sahodaya, we are not only having the interaction of students and principals, we have teacher competitions lined up. We have debate competition for teachers. We have paper reading competition for teachers. We have idea sharing, like the best teaching practices. So sharing of ideas is a very good, very good way of making communication and language better. Definitely, you have a good hand on 3-4 languages. You must have that kind of a hand on that. What Aditi Ma'am was talking about, that there was a time when people used to read out the stories to us. Our mothers used to read out the stories to us. And I'm sure Jaswinder sir would have taken up this idea and put it in his lab next time, that there is a mother voice coming from the English language lab.
It is there, sir.
It
is already there.
Storytelling thing happening.
So
this storytelling thing, not only, is not just enhancing what the child is learning, it is enhancing what the teacher is supposed to do. She has to look in all the ideas, whether how she had to present it dramatically, she has to present it in a very clear format. The listening skill improves in the children when you are listening to a language, like what the ma'am was talking about, that you have to listen to the story before you actually. I guess Vivek sir also spoke about the same thing, that you must listen and then you speculate the thing. So that happens with the teacher also. So the whole idea about developing skills, if you talk about any skill, understanding, reading, writing, verbal, non-verbal, communication through various sign language, everything is developed through a language, because until unless the language is not in its place, you don't know the language, you will never be able to develop these things. So peer, your peer learning also happens through a language. I mean, at times I have a thing called, I've taken it from the Prime Minister of India. I have Kibar Principle ke saath. And I ask my children, especially the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th graders, they can come and talk to me about anything. Anything means anything. They want to talk about their relationships. They want to talk about their heartburns. They want to talk about their issues which they're having, adolescence issues. They come and talk to me, and initially they were hesitant. And today, like 4 of those batches have passed, they still come back to me through WhatsApp, through Instagram, through Facebook, and they're asking me things. So communication is developed through that process, what Sharma sir said, through that learning process, which is developed over time, and connecting it with the culture, what Aditi ma'am gave us. And definitely the machine language, the technology is putting it into the right format. But ultimately, it is me, you, the teachers, the educators, who will never be able to replace anything but the communication thing happening among all of us. And that's how the languages are developed, and an idea of learning languages are induced in the children. So that's
excellent, sir. Excellent, sir. Excellent. Now, this is another thing you are doing different, sir. You're calling the 9th to 12th grade students and talking to them about their personal problems and everything. They feel belongingness.
Yes.
They feel belongingness, and this is what we teach to the parents also, that you don't feel that you are a father or a mother. Like they say, na, you don't mera baap banne ki koshish mat karo. They should not be there. You have to be friendly with them.
And that time my approach is not like, I'm not talking to them as a principal. I take off the tie, I just sit them under a tree, or I go to the cafeteria, or just for a stroll out in the campus, and I come to their level. At times, I also feel, you have to go down to their level. You have to speak what they want to listen. You have to actually go down to their level and speak what they want comfortable in. If you try to be a counselor to them, they would never open up with you.
Open up, never.
So you have to be within. Even I take out my 12th for a after party after their their farewell. I take them personally. Okay, fine. Let's go for an after party and do whatever you want to do. I'm standing here. Half an hour of yours or half an hour of yours. Do whatever you want to do. And the best part is you learn so much. The idea is you learn so much. You come to know the exact problems. Let's be very frank. We talk too much on webinars. Whenever we are on live webinars, we talk about strategies. We talk about many things. But when we go back to school, the ground realities are different. We need to
absolutely right, sir. Absolutely right. And sir, we will never grow above 18, because till we are in the school, neither AP Sharma sir, nor me, or Vivid sir, or Aditi ma'am, or Sharma ma'am, or Jisunda sir, we will never grow above 18, because when we'll try to grow up above 18, we won't be able to handle our students for sure. Even I am also going to my classes. I'm not doing the way you are doing, sir. You are excellent. Now this idea has come to me. I'll be also be starting the same thing. I don't know about the others, but as I'm
we do
an,
it. I do it. I
yeah,
do it for
I'm an
myself.
Same
I'm
here.
an
Same
accountancy
here.
teacher. So I do go into the classes 11, 10, 12 commerce, and you know the naughtiest one are in commerce. And sometimes I go into the class, I teach them, I talk to them, and have crack a joke with them. So the belongingness feeling should be there with the students. So that is why they will respect the teachers and the principal, and the values will be created. Thank you so much, Kunal sir. Uh, Ma'am, Deepika ma'am, will come up to you. Please add up something into this topic.
So, so much has already been said. I'll just add very little without taking too much of everybody's
Yes,
time.
ma'am.
I'll just say that language enriches us in lot many manner. If you've been learning more languages over a long period of time, you don't even know how many skills have been enhanced. You know, for example, if you let's talk about if you are a bilingual or a multilingual, you would find out that the person who's doing these, learning these languages, would be also enhancing the cognitive thinking, okay? And hence the critical thinking or problem solving comes along with it. Sherlock Holmes had a great mind and he was a linguist. Their decision making gets easier because you're able to understand more than a few languages. You're able to understand the nuances and the expressions of the language and the culture along with it. So decision making gets easier. That's one more skill to it. Creativity, because you try to express yourself in an alternate method. You're thinking out of the box. So there are series of skills that come up, and of course, communication skills. I mean, I'm just saying you could be a good networker. You have networking skills. You're more confident. You have more career choices. So I guess multilingual a linguist has a whole lot of options and skills enhanced. I would just like to add to finally say this, that the language enrichment is a reflection to life it itself. So absolutely imperative to all of us. Thank you.
Sir
I
Ajit
think
sir?
Chandok sir lost.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. I'll come up to Vivid Gupta, sir. Sir, every child is born with different abilities and different mental levels. This goes with language learning also. Sir, your answer in 1 minute.
So thank you, Chandok sir, for this question. When we say that every child is born with different abilities, and of course, everybody is born in a different context. But when I talk about the language learning, I personally feel that the whole purpose of language learning is, like everybody has said, is to express ourselves, is to communicate, is to converse, build that environment where we are able to, get into a conversation, a discussion. The 1.5 hours that we've sat here this evening, I think it was a beautiful evening where we have exchanged our thoughts and we got into a conversation, understood what other person feel about the same topic, right? Today, a major problem that I personally feel is there in our society, it is the communication gap. In spite of all our efforts that that we are taking at school to ensure that the children know how to converse, how to communicate, how to express themselves, unfortunately, with the time we have observed that that communication gap has increased. People do not know what to say and how to express themselves, which is causing the worry. And that is why it is very, very important for all of us as educators to realize that this is the time that we take an action. So, like Aditi ma'am said, that strategy is something which is very, very important. So each school is using different strategy, and we need to, give that strategy an objective and define it for our teachers and our students, that why are we doing language learning in our classroom? Why is this language teaching important? Why those debates and eloquations and extempores are important? Why fancy dress competition, story reading, storytelling is important at the primary level? Why are we talking about, the school newsletter? What is this requirement of that school newsletter? Why is a school inviting the students to express themselves through poems and articles in the weekly magazine or in the biannual magazine? What is the need of that? If the purpose is clear to everybody, we will be able to ensure that this communication gap is curtailed, and that is the objective of language learning. So I personally feel that, of course, with age, with different demographics, we will use different strategies, and we need to understand the context of the children, but the aim remains the same, which is we have to meet the communication gap, and hence language learning is very, very essential at a primary level.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Before ending up the session, we will have a small round where I like Aditi ma'am, please, any two
I
lines
need
you
to
can sing
talk
in
for
Bengali.
something before you get into
Bangla.
that. I need
I'll
to
talk in Sanskrit. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani paschantu, ma kachchit dukh bhav bhavet. इसके मतलब मैं बांग्ला में बोलती हूँ। सब সকলে সুখী হোক, सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिना, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सब সকলে নিরাময়, রোগ আরোগ্য থাক, আরোগ্য হোক সকলের, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु. This is a very important line. Let us all experience good things in life. Let us be the instrument for the good things, good changes of the world. मा कश्चित दुख भाव भवेत्. किसी को भी কোনো কারুকেই যেন দুঃখের ভাগীদার না হতে হয়, অন্যের দুঃখের ভাগীদার না হতে হয়. That means let us not be the reason for others' misery, others' sorrow. Thank you, everyone. Jasvinder sir, so
Thank you,
this
ma'am.
is dedicated to you.
Thank you so much. So,
Thank
ma'am,
you
I
so
will
much,
just
ma'am.
say, kemon ache, ma'am. Khub bhalo.
ভালো ভালো,
Bhalo, bhalo. Right.
সত শ্রী অকাল.
Yes, Satsik. I'll tell you what. If I want to connect, the best way is to connect through languages. And if you can speak a little bit of the other person's language, you get it. I got married this way, Gujarati, and I got a Gujarati wife. Right? So that's what thing. Yeah. But I would want to
Jaswinder
end up
sir,
thing.
Jaswinder sir, you can add, you can sing something, two
No,
lines.
no, before
in
that, I
Gujarati.
want to add 2-3 points. You didn't give me the last point. I want to
Sure,
add
sir.
certain things. First thing, when we're talking about stories which mothers should read, very important, because I always say, which is the best laptop? The mother's lap is the best laptop. That's one very important thing. And that is where storytelling should start. And that is where paperback books are very, very important, where a mother can, even if the child can't read, he will see that the mother is reading and reading a story too. That goes on to that. Going next to what Kunal sir just said. Kunal ji, you're very right. You know what we've done as a part of a program, we've got 150 storybooks. Aditi ma'am, the way you have got Ladybird, we've got our own storybooks, which are age appropriate and scaffolding. You listen to that and then you record it. So when you listen to something which is properly recorded, you pronounce it properly, you record it properly. That's the second one. And the third very important thing, Kunal sir, Cambridge University, okay, the English assessment people, they came to us before COVID and asked us to create a product for the young learners, for the first graders and second graders. A part of that product, what we did was we got very good storytellers and we video shot them reading out stories, because that is where you get it. And one very important thing, stories bring you close to your languages. Remember when we were kids, we used to go to a dadi's place, nani's place. Those stories, in Punjabi we call it Sakhi,
Yes,
and in I don't know what we call in the other language, but those stories bring us very close to the language. So very frankly, if we could have stories and stories and stories to build up language skills, nothing like it. And one important thing, I don't know how many Father Sharma ji, up to, I mean, yeah, you and me, we've gone beyond age. We've already got, sons married or something. Vivid ji, you are young. Kunal ji, you're very young. I don't know about the ladies. Like when we were young, when we were kids were small, every evening, late evening, my daughter would come and say, Papa, story sunao. Papa, story sunao. And that was my biggest challenge in life. मैं घर जाने से डरता था, कौन सी story सुनाऊं. What used to happen is, now my daughter, she's also doing mass comm, ma'am. And sir, so she now tell me, Papa, you made a fool out of me. एक ही story को twist करके सुनाते थे. So now what we've come up with, we are coming up with stories in all Indian languages, which a father like us can, show it to the child, flip through the books, and then read it out or let it learn. So there's something that we're trying to do for the fathers, because बच्चों को क्या होता है, पूरे दिन माँ तो है, अब बाप के साथ कैसे कनेक्ट करें, खाना खाने के बाद लेट के. So actually stories change everything. Actually stories, and they're not. And India has such a lot of stories. Why do we need to go to foreign stories? We have such a lot of cultural stories.
Jaswinder Sahib, the NEP says the storytelling is a pedagogy. Every subject needs to be told in a story, taught in a
Yes,
story.
you're right, ma'am.
So exactly, summing up of, everything that you say. So
Exactly,
we're for
ma'am.
it,
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly. So that's the way it should be. So, Chandokji, instead of me talking about something else, I put it out to this. So, pardon me for not singing. I can't sing, but if you want, I can give a little bit in Gujarati.
Yeah, sure,
Right,
sure.
right.
Sure, sure.
So,
Kunal
I'll
sir,
tell you why.
next is your
Because you
turn, sir.
see, it is also said a person who speaks 3 or more languages has a more logical mind, because you
Yes.
have to not only use them in the same sentence, you have to make sense out of it. So कुणाल सर जो आपने वो किया है आपके रीजन में, दैट्स ग्रेट, बिकॉज ऐसा नहीं है कि एक लैंग्वेज नहीं आती, बट 3 लैंग्वेज मिक्स करके अगर आदमी बोल के एंड उसको इफ यू दे कैन मेक सेंस आउट ऑफ इट, that is something which is very, very important, right? So I will sing just 2 lines. I'm not a singer, though my wife is. You have heard of this Mr. Udas जो गजल गाते हैं,
मनर उदास,
पंकज उदास, उसका जो
पंकज
ब्रदर
उदास,
मनर
पंकज
उदास है,
उदास,
मनर उदास,
पंकज उदास का जो मनर उदास है ब्रदर, वो गुजराती है, ये तो सारे. तो उनकी एक ये छोटी सी गजल है, कहते हैं हूं क्या कहूं छू आपनी हा होवी જોઈએ पर ना कहो छो एमा भी व्यथा होवी જોઈએ. दैट मींस मैं कहां कह रहा हूं कि आप हाँ बोल दीजिए, पर ना जो करे उसमें भी कुछ नजाकत रख दीजिए, उसमें भी हमें मजा आ जाए, बिकॉज रिजेक्शन इज अ पार्ट ऑफ लाइफ. we've also been young at
Lovely.
time, Aditi
Very
ma'am.
well said.
that's great, sir. That's
Kuja
great, sir.
Uttama, sir, Kuja Uttama.
So ma'am, your daughter is in Gandhinagar if she requires anything, because I work with the Forensic Science University on
She's doing
projects.
neuroscience, and what
Yeah.
you're saying, she tells me every time, everything, that multi-polyglots have
Yes.
got more active neural connections.
Ji, ji,
Polyglots are more intelligent, so it's important to learn many languages.
Language. Ji, ji, ji. Right. Okay.
That's great. Kunal sir, please, anything in Gadwal or Kashmiri language, any 2 lines. I know you are a good singer also.
हमारी तो we are more into Kashmiri and Dogri. So
No problem, sir. Dogri or
I'll
Kashmiri.
prefer Dogri because Punjabis will also connect to it. आज दी सारी वार्तालाप बड़ी शैल सीगी. So what it means it is today's conversation was beautiful.
Only 1 line, sir. That's great, sir. Vivid sir, something you will speak or sing.
Sing is very difficult. So
No.
listening to everybody, एक स्कूल में भी सुनते थे बात, बड़ी सिंपल सी, और हिंदी में ही मैं बोलूंगा, मुझे ज्यादा भाषाएं आती नहीं है. तो एकता विविधता में है, ना कि समानता में. तो
That's great, sir.
ये समझना बहुत जरूरी है कि हमारे देश में इतनी सारी भाषाएं हैं, और अगर हम उनको अलग अलग तरीके से प्रेजेंट करते हैं, तो वो हमारी कहीं ना कहीं एकता को बताता है. तो वो समझना बहुत जरूरी है.
That's great, sir. That's great, sir. Deepika ma'am.
So I'm just going to speak a line in German, okay?
Oh, that's great.
Okay. Ich liebe Deutsch. I mean, ich liebe dich is, I love you is the most known phrase in every language. Okay. But I just say, ich liebe Deutsch, fast alles, ich habe fast alles vergessen. I'm saying I love German, although I have forgotten most of it.
That's great, ma'am. Sharma sir, so you have,
Danke,
I mean,
Danke schön.
worked in so many countries.
Yes,
Sir,
yes.
something from you.
I was born in Marwar region. So
Okay.
I know all the dialects of Rajasthan, means around 6 to 7 dialects.
Okay.
So and Punjabi also.
Oh,
That's
See,
lovely.
Punjabi is changi. So no, आज तो मजो आई गयो. अपनी बाता ऐसी चौकी मजो आई गयो.
बिल्कुल मजा.
That's great, sir. That's great, sir. Thank you so much, everyone, for sparing your valuable time. Thank you, sir. AP Sharma, sir, Aditi ma'am, Kunal, sir, Jaswinder, sir, Vivek Gupta, sir, Deepika Sharma, ma'am. And it was a wonderful evening we had, and I hope you also enjoyed. and learn from each other. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chandok
Yeah,
sir.
it's an honor to be a part of this show. Thank you
Khub
so
bhalo,
much.
khub
Stay
bhalo, ma'am.
connected.
Khub bhalo.
Yes. Thank you. We'll stay connected.
Ji, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.